Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got Stephen Dollins back on the radio again today. He's an ex-Satanist high priest for the Church of Satan, and he's made 4 DVDs with the Prophecy Club. Under the Spell of Harry Potter DVD and book, it's available in the gift offer today. Occult Holidays Revealed, Occult in Your Living Room, and the one we're going to talk about today is Illuminati Game or Blueprint for World Domination. Here's the scoop, then we're going to talk to Steve. In the early 1990s, this card game was printed and came out, and the Secret Service actually attempted to stop the distribution of this deck of cards. I wonder why. It's called Illuminati New World Order. One of the cards clearly portrays an airplane flying into the World Trade Center towers. Another one shows an explosion at the Pentagon. Another one, and by the way, Steve Dollins says that these seem to contain the Illuminati secret plans. In my opinion, I think there is no doubt that somebody, someplace saw the future. When you see these cards, you're going to say, oh my goodness, this is not an accident. They portray things of the future that are coming. They say what's coming is martial law, weapons confiscation. That sounds like Las Vegas Massacre, doesn't it? Weapons confiscation. For the first time in my life, they're actually talking about repealing the Second Amendment. Population reduction, controlled diseases re-released, financial collapse, worthless currency. Stephen Dollins, welcome back to the Prophecy Club, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's talk about some more of these cards. You sent me over an email last night. Some more cards. Next one was Charismatic Leader. I'll describe the card. You tell us what it's talking about. I'm looking at a guy that is, and this is a shot from back behind him. He is wearing, probably it looks like a suit, and he's standing and talking in front of a large crowd of people. His hair is blonde, and it says Charismatic Leader. Steve.
Now, I thought this was kind of important because this came right after Hillary Clinton, this charismatic leader. Now, a lot of people will sit there and say that Donald Trump wasn't charismatic. Well, yes, he was, because he basically charmed people into voting for him rather than voting for Hillary. And all of his words, you remember that his campaign was, from the beginning, making America great again, or let's make America great again. Right now, we're a divided nation.
Amen.
I don't see anything great about it. In fact, our enemies look at us and laugh because they don't have to do anything. We're doing it all ourselves.
Right. Destructing from within.
Exactly. I believe that this card portrays Donald Trump.
That's what hit me when I saw it.
Yeah.
That's what hit me when I saw it. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, this is a fella. This is actually 2 men, and they're actually facing the person drawing it, but they're in a position where they've been talking, and at the top it says exposed, and then it has a red dot with REC, as in recording, as in someone has been recording these 2 men in the conversation. And one guy is left-handed, has his finger holding a pen, and on the papers on the desk shows yellow papers, and it looks like a triangle, and the top of the triangle actually has a small round circle, as in Illuminati.
I think this is portraying what's going on in the news now. I'm sure you've been reading about it, where a lot of Trump's cabinet members have been dropping out.
Right.
And there have been a lot of scandals that have been coming to light in his administration, and I believe that's what this is portraying. You already know about the interference with Russia in the election. That's been all over the news.
Right. Well, there was a couple of people that Trump had to let go. Well, one of them specifically, that general, I can't recall his name right now. There was a recorded conversation, and he was talking to the Russians over it, and it cost him his job. And that looks like this card.
Yeah, and I believe that's exactly what it is.
Okay, the next one says tax breaks. And it has a 1040 IRS form. In the middle of the form, it has an oval with a purple background, and it looks like a man dressed like the president. He's wearing a dark suit, possibly a gray suit, white shirt, and red tie. And ask yourself, how does the president, specifically Trump, always dress? 90% of the time, dark suit, red tie, white shirt, and has him jumping through this oval, this hole in the tax form with people in the background watching him with a big stack of books and briefcases over to the side, and he's jumping into the tax form that says tax breaks.
Now, you know that even in the midst of all of this scandal and these people dropping out from the administration, suddenly we were told that, there's going to be tax breaks. There's going to be a big tax break. That's the next thing that President Trump is going to do.
I mean, I'm telling you, this is like so prophetic. This is in the order that they are being fulfilled. And that's what they're talking about in the news right now. They just talked about the recording. This is a history of what has happened in the last 12 to 18 months.
Correct. What's going to happen is these tax breaks are basically going to give more to the people who are making the most money, not to the ones that are poor or middle class.
Well, at least that's what the Democrats say.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the next one. And it says computer security. And there has been a real big push about computer security lately with, what was it? Just the Equifax was just broke into, and some half of Americans have had all of their Social Security numbers possibly hacked. Then there's this guy on TV, and he's selling this computer software that is supposed to fix your ransomware. If you're not familiar with it, ransomware is where you get a computer virus and it comes up and says, if you'd like to have your computer back, call us and you're going to send us a lot of money, or we're not going to release your computer. So in the picture, it looks to me like a woman has a black hat on that has a square across where the eyes go, as if it is like RoboCop or something like that. In other words, it's just a line across there with all kinds of wires coming out of the helmet. Around the neck is what appears to be like pearls, and then there's another wire going around the neck, and then this is a woman dressed in black. There's
been so much data theft and identity theft, and then, like as you said before, that here's all these people coming out with all this software that you can buy and spend big money on to protect yourself. But now the American people are so paranoid, I guess, of all this, they don't know who to trust. Who do you buy that you know is going to protect you, or are you buying software that's actually going to open up your data to someone else?
Now, you say most of these are on the DVD, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, again, you want to see what I'm looking at? Get the DVD. All right. Either that or spend a couple of $1,000s trying to find the cards on the internet. So take your easy way out and help a ministry, right? Okay. The next one says hackers. And this guy is looking at a computer screen, and he's all green, kind of like the Green Lantern guy. And he's typing on the keyboard with dark glasses on with a big, kind of like Green Lantern, or was that the Joker with his hair all up? What is this about?
You know, hacking has been around for buku years. Recently, there's been more computer hacking than anything else, than ever before. They now are hacking your Facebook accounts, all your social media. So if you get on there and you give any kind of information about your personal business, your personal life, there are hackers out there that can grab that right away. That's why a lot of girls and women are stalked, because they put out their personal information, and these computer hackers can actually get in there. By your IP address, they can find out where you actually live and what your job is, what times you're gone from the house. It's ridiculous.
Okay, and the next one says internet worm. It's a back shot. We're looking at this woman's back here with her ponytail. She's looking at the computer screen and got the keyboard in front of her. And coming out of the computer screen is what appears to be a giant green worm with big teeth. So there's a computer worm coming out of the computer monitor at this woman.
The code on this card, and I told you some of these things have a code on them. The code is what it says after the picture. And what it says is all the data is lost. There is a plan to go into the banking system, put in an internet worm that no one has seen before, is designed to wipe out your entire bank account. The only way that if you get money is that they have you on file, and you can go to the window of your bank or to go through the drive-through, and they're able to look, and there's numbers. There's no actual money. They look on their computers and they see these numbers. And if they don't see those numbers, or those numbers go to zero because something happens to the entire computer system in the banking, you have no proof that you have an account.
Okay, and the next card says at the top, New World Order, second line, law and order. And we see a picture of, appears to be a police officer with a Sam Brown belt with a big nightstick hitting this apparently civilian.
Right. And isn't this what's going on in the world today? This is why our country's divided, is because people claiming that the police have gotten out of hand and they don't just arrest people anymore, they shoot them. We're getting so divided, and people are getting so fed up with people being abused by authority figures that this could cause a panic to the point to where we have riots once again in the city streets.
Okay, the next card says, resistance is useless. I'm looking at a guy that's wearing what appears to be like probably purple leather with a gun in his hand and sunglasses, and looks to be a bad dude.
Right. And I think this represents the government itself, where they're telling basically that resistance is useless, that we are in authority, we are even the police force, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every police force is corrupt, or that every police officer is bad, because we know that's not true. There are many that are out there that are good and helpful and kind and have a heart for people. But it's those few, you know how it says that one bad apple spoils the bunch. Those few that are abusive, that are causing a bad name.
We'll be right back after this message. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the two witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com. And now, back to the program.
Those few that are abusive, that are causing a bad name for authority figures.
You know, I can see how all of this all fits together. And the next card says upheaval. I'm looking at one guy here, that a white guy got a red bandana around his head there, and he is hitting what appears to be one of the 2 officers that is in full riot gear, that has a nightstick in his hand, and it says riot, riot.
And underneath that card is another code. It says worldwide riots continue for a 3rd week with no sign of abatement. So again, this whole thing is on the verge of causing the people to rise up and riot. And
the next card says black activists, and we have a guy with, what do they call it, dreadlocks. It's a black guy, and he's got a black mustache and kind of a chin goatee, and he's got a very colorful outfit on, probably the colors of Jamaica, and it says black activists.
Now, here's what's uncanny. I saw this same picture, an actual picture, the black activists marching in one of the major cities, and the guy in front carrying a sign looked exactly the same, with the same hairstyle, the beard, everything. The black activists now have risen up, and they are claiming that the white supremacy is trying to take over, and that they're trying to be wiped out, and they're going back into talking about being slaves again. And
well, I think about Black Lives Matter. Just this past weekend, they've begun to throw red paint on some of the Columbus statues. And then we've got the NFL players that refuse to stand during our national anthem. So, again, there's a real division in our nation.
The next card is the KKK. They are prominent again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've risen up. One of the Grand Dragons was in a march in Charlotte recently. He's a powerful a leader in the KKK, and he's basically has a sign saying we won't be forced out, meaning that we're not going to, the white people are here to stay, we're not going to be forced out, we're not going to give up, we're not going to surrender.
Well, and the picture is a guy with your typical white KKK uniform on the sheet with a pointy hat on, within the background is a burning cross. And the next one says goal, power to the people. And we have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 fists, and it's the right fist up in the air, and they're all clenched fists, and it looks like about half of them are white, half of them are black.
And where do you see this? You see this now in the sports world.
I mean, just this past weekend, I heard, I didn't see, but there was supposedly one of the NFL players that sacked the quarterback, and he raised his hand in a black, a fist or.
Correct.
Yeah. So in matter of fact, there was one report that said that they injured a white quarterback. It was a black guy that did it, and specifically on purpose. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the point is there's a division in our nation.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's only going to get worse. We don't stop it. And I think this is going to cause the next card. I think this is what's going to bring about the next card, which is called March on Washington.
What I see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 signs. And in the background, you see the Capitol. And the signs read, don't like it, no, grr, really, really unhappy, nope. And then I also see a triangle with the all-seeing eye in it. To me, it reminds me of the signs that says, not my president.
Right. Then we have the next card, which is called nationalization.
And we see a picture of a store owner standing in front of his store with a spatula in his hand. There's a big sign on his front door. Of course, there's on the window, it says Mom's Cafe. Then a big sign that says Federal Department of Lunch, something about purchase guidelines and price structure. And looks like Mom has been shoved out of the business. She's walking out with her pie and gray hair and her apron on, and it looks like a grandma being pushed out of the business by a businessman that is now taken over.
This really stunned me when Trump basically said that he wanted all foreigners out. But I think that it's going to cause just exactly what it says, nationalization. Let me ask you something, Stan. Do you have in Texas there, do you have what's called a real ID?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
In Kansas, we do. Let me tell you what this is. I found this out when I went in to renew my driver's license. And they gave me this pamphlet, and it said, what is real ID? Now, I was told at the time that I could either get a real ID now or that I could wait till it comes implemented in 2020. In 2005, the Federal Government Real ID Act establishes minimum security standards for state-issued driver's licenses and identification cards. The Real ID Act is a coordinated effort by the states and federal government to improve the reliability and accuracy of state-issued identification documents, which should inhibit terrorists' ability to evade detection by using fraudulent identification. Effective October 1st, 2020, every traveler will need a Real ID-compliant driver's license or identification card or another acceptable form of identification in order to board an airplane or enter a designated federal facility within the United States. Your driver's license will contain a gold circle with a star cutout symbol on the card itself, printed at the top third of the card on the front right side. and this symbol indicates that the card meets the Real ID Act requirements effective October 1st, 2020, at airports and other designated federal facilities, uses nationwide.
Well, what I think is strange is that it's required in the year 2020, which is the year that I think personally that God is going to take his hand off of America. Now, whether the judgment and the fall of America takes place then, I want to believe that we can delay that with some prayer. Let me go back to the card on nationalization, where it says the grandma walking away holding the pie. This actually reminds me of how the government has stepped in and said, yes, you are going to supply pies and cakes or whatever to the group of homosexuals, even though you're a Christian and you don't want to. This is the federal stepping in, telling the business how to run his business.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that full-heartedly.
Okay, then the next card is professional sports, and it has a football player running out to catch a pass, but what he's catching is instead a leather bag or maybe a purse, and coming out of it is dollar bills, and he's catching the money rather than a ball.
Right. I thought this was really strange when this is in a deck of cards, because what's going on with football right now? For now, we've got football players that are being paid millions of dollars,
right,
to play football, to play a game, to get out there and play for, 3 hours?
We have a fella that contacted our ministry probably, 5-10 years ago. He played professional sports, a lineman. We actually got to know him quite well. He began to explain. He said, Stan, he says, professional sports, not just NFL. He was in the NFL. He said, but professional sports these days has no loyalty. The people have no loyalty to the owners, to the coaches. The coaches and owners have no loyalty to the people. Everything these days is all about money. That's all they care about. The owners want to make lots of it. The managers, the coaches, and the players, that's all they're doing. It's all about money. It's making money. It has nothing to do with winning. It has nothing to do with loyalty and the right attitude and things like that. It's all money. And that's what this card is saying, that professional sports is going to become all about the money. Exactly. Well, and it has.
And it has, absolutely. If every professional sports person, no matter what sport they're in, that are getting paid all this money, if they would pay, let's say they would give $100 and they would throw it into a pile, we could deal with the national debt. We could probably wipe out the national debt.
Well,
that's how much they're making.
My son-in-law bought, they're too expensive for me to buy, but my son-in-law bought tickets for the four of us, my daughter and him and me and Leslie, and we all four went to a Dallas Cowboy game. And we had pretty good seats. And I said, hey, just if you don't mind me asking, what do these tickets cost? He said, oh, I got a really good bargain on these. I said, how much? He said, these were about $300. He said, but you see those there? Those are season ticket holders, and those cost in that area anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a ticket. I said, you talking about for a whole season? He said, no. He said, well, let me explain. He says, that's for one game. And he said, and then they have to buy the seat. They purchase the seat, okay? And he says, that's $1,500 to $3,000 per ticket, per game, and that's if they bought the seat. He said, now you buy the seat for anywhere from 25, if I'm remembering my numbers right, and there's probably somebody out there that knows this a whole lot better than me, but the point is the numbers might not exactly be accurate, okay? I'm not an expert on this. But I think he said it's anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 for the seat, and that gives you the privilege of purchasing the ticket each year, and that's each seat. So for a husband and wife, we're talking $3,000, $6,000 game after you purchase. Now, of course, that's some of the more expensive ones too. And by the way, that's a seat. That's a seat out among all of the other seats. Now, if you want some of the box offices, or we're talking like $30,000 or $40,000 a game for some of those. So, I mean, the point is, professional sports has got way out of line. And yet, what do we see? The churches are starving to death. The radio and TV programs are starving to death that are trying to get the gospel out. People have plenty of time and money for sports and entertainment, whether it's basketball, football, track, golf, whatever. They got lots of money. Well, and she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God that judgeth her. She says, I'm rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked. There you go. That's America. Right now, we have switched to where having fun is more important than having our name written in the Lamb's Book of Life.
Amen.
Well, Steve, once again, thank you very much for being on today. We'll have to have you back on again.
My pleasure.
So if you'd like to get today's offer, it is called the Stephen Dollins Collector Set, 4 DVDs and a book valued at $135 for a gift of $45. prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. 4 DVDs are the one we've been discussing: Illuminati Game, or Blueprint for World Domination, Occult in Your Living Room, Occult Holidays Revealed, Under the Spell of Harry Potter book and DVD. 4 DVDs, 1 book, valued $135 for a gift of $45. Get it. You'll love it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers. And don't forget, we survive by your gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com. The number 1 killer in most emergency events, surprisingly, is drinking contaminated water. Being able to scoop water out of the puddle and filter it may save your life. I drink all of my water filtered through a Crown Berkey. Now, it's a gravity filter filtering down to virus levels. Contaminated water in the top gives you drinking water out the bottom. It's what the missionaries use. There are 7 Berkey options from 1 to 8 filters. Order them at prophecyclub.com. Be sure and order 2 to 4 extra black filters as backup. That's prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. Berkey water filters.